And now, back to the splash, live.
Welcome to the Bassquatch Hunter Fish Out of Water.
I've got a fish.
We share our love for fishing with our guests, and then we dive into their world and show off what they do. We both chased our dreams, but together we will chase our Bassquatch.
Hosted by Mike McKinstry. The Bassquatch Hunter. Fish out of water.
Welcome to the
I love it. I think we saw it once. It's probably good enough. Let's get to Mike. He's here. Thank you very much for joining us here on Civic Center TV. Good to have you with us live.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here.
Well, you know, I tell people all the time, there's so many people that live, grew up, work in our communities that are having a big impact right here at home and then certainly nationally, regionally, globally. Oh my gosh, you're huge on the Discovery Channel on YouTube, and it all happened from right here in West Bloomfield. You got to be thrilled with the way your life is going, Mike.
I mean, it's a lot of, first, thank you, but it's also a lot of payoffs. It's been a lot of work. We've been doing it for 7 years now, full time. So we film mostly right here in West Bloomfield. I love operating out of West Bloomfield and showing off our amazing township here too. So it's been one heck of a ride, but yeah, it's just incredible to see where it's came, and you know, all the hard work pays off.
Well, we got some big announcements, but before we get to that, I'm always curious how people make it to the big time, if you will, and do it from right here in our own community. You're doing this work here. You're competing with, you know, an entire industry of, you know, people that live in LA, that live in New York, that are connected, and somehow you made this thing happen in West Bloomfield. Tell us your story.
So I started out doing marketing for 13 years. I did promotional marketing for so long. And it was one of those things where I just didn't feel like I was fulfilled. Like I didn't feel like I was 100% happy with what I was doing. And I didn't think I was really passionate enough about my job anymore. So I started thinking about like, what really makes me happy, and what do I really want to do? Like, what are my goals? Like, you know, how do I really want to spend the rest of my life working, you know? And I realized that I was just working like most of us do. I was just working just enough to be able to afford to do my hobbies that I really was happy about on the weekends. Whether it's, you know, golf or fishing or whatever it is, that's what most of us do, is we work so we can afford to do what we really want to do on the weekends. So I was like, you know, if I took all of my experience that I've had my whole life, all my marketing and sales and, you know, all the stuff that I've done, and then I took my time and everything else and put it all into one thing that really made me happy. I wonder if I could make a living doing it. And I wasn't sure how to navigate that. There's no book on how to do that or anything. So I wasn't really sure on how to make that happen. But I decided to quit my job after doing it for so long. I was at the same office for 10 years. And I literally called one day and I said, hey, I'm probably not going to come in. I'm on the water right now with a client and we're having more fun than we are working. So I literally put my notice in right then and there, quit my job. I started a YouTube channel because I didn't know what to do, how to start it. Like I said, there's no book or manual. And I got into kayak fishing, and that's the craziest thing to me still. Like, fishing out of a kayak is so shocking to people, and it still is to me to this day. But I got rid of the bass boat, and I just wanted a kayak. I wanted something small that I could take out without anyone helping me. No gas, no fuel. I could go on these small lakes that don't, you know, West Bloomfield has so many lakes. We have 24 lakes in just our township. And there's so many lakes that don't allow boats or don't have boat launches. And I was like, man, if I had a kayak, you know, I could get to that spot over there. I bet you there's some good fish over there, some good adventure, something that people haven't seen as much because there's no boats. And it literally was that easy, where I was like, I found these areas and I wanted people to see how cool it was that I could now get to these areas. I wanted people to see what kayak fishing allowed me to do and allowed me to experience. So I started making YouTube videos about it. And before I knew it, these brands were reaching out to me and saying, hey, we love your content. We love how you're sharing this. We love your new approach to this. No one's doing this yet, especially in Michigan. There's like 3 people in Michigan that were like competitively kayak fishing at the time. And I was going to tournaments and there was like nobody represented. It was such a small thing in Michigan. And I was like, all right, I got in touch with everyone from around the country that was running these organizations. I'm like, I need to build this up in my area because people need to see how cool this is. I started working with local dealers. I started just doing all this groundwork and just, you know, working crazy amount of time just trying to build this up. Before I knew it, you know, our YouTube channel was taking off. You know, these brands were recognizing it. People from all over the country are messaging me saying, hey, you got me into the sport. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm making a difference here without even trying. Like, I'm making an impact here, and I feel like I have a responsibility now to make this bigger, and I need a bigger audience so I can impact more people. Fast forward 4 years, we got on cable. We won Telly Awards each year. We won a Telly Award in sports first, sports and television. Then we won a Telly Award, which is the television awards. We won a Telly Award the next year in nature and wildlife. And then we're like, all right, so our show doesn't fit into a category. It's what we do is we share, give you a quick rundown, I guess. We share what other people also do to follow their dreams too in our show. So we film with, West Bloomfield firefighters. We film with local executive chefs. We film with WWE wrestlers and NASCAR drivers and comedians and radio hosts and country singers, a variety of people who also follow their dreams to do what they love to do for a living. And we kind of share what they do in my world and teach them how to fish. Then I go in their world and they teach me how to do what they do. So we've been able to just grow this platform. We've inspired so many people to try new things, get out, find adventures, and take a risk on themselves. And you know what? Get out and catch some fish, too, and have some fun.
West Bloomfield's own Mike McKinstry, the Bassquatch Hunter. Mike, we only got a couple of minutes here. Bassquatch Hunter. No, that's cool, man. You're doing great. Next time we'll book an hour with you. Bassquatch Hunter, help me out with that one. Explain what that means and where that came from.
Yeah, so the term Bassquatch, which I trademarked in 2015, I think it was one of those words where I always caught the biggest fish. I never caught the most fish. I always caught the biggest fish. And my buddy and I were watching a fishing show 2014, 2015, and this guy was like, look at this fish. It's huge. It's like a Bassquatch, like a Sasquatch. And we looked at each other, and I was like, that's it. So now we use the term the Bassquatch Hunter, more of like hunting for your adventure, finding that one elusive adventure you haven't put on camera yet or people haven't seen, just like a Sasquatch.
All right, well, I salute you. It is so difficult. I'm an entrepreneur, and I talk to other entrepreneurs all the time. That day that you turn in your notice and you're on your own, it's a scary day, but for many of us, that is the best day of our lives. I congratulate you, and we're so glad that you make our community a big part of what you're doing, and that's why you've been recognized by everyone here locally, the West Bloomfield Township Board, and all of us. So thank you very much. And then our relationship, and I'm glad that we're spending time together today. I want to get to know you better. But our relationship, you've been great to Civic Center TV. So I understand that one of your programs that you debuted on our channel then became eligible for a regional Emmy. And bring us up to date on that, if you would, Mike.
Yeah, so we aired our West Bloomfield fireman episode, actually, because it was all filmed locally. It was with a local hero here. And an amazing time, one of the best episodes. And we submitted it to the regional Emmys, and it's kind of like catching fish. Sometimes you catch, sometimes you're just fishing. So we threw the line out there, seeing if we would just get a nomination. There's no fishing show that's ever been nominated for an Emmy, no kayak fishing show, and especially in Michigan. So we were like, let's just throw it out there, see what happens. And we got the Emmy nomination. So we got nominated to the Emmys the other day. It was incredible. We didn't win, but you know what? We won by being there. It was incredible.
Well, that's great. We have an Emmy-nominated show that's been on Civic Center TV and that is produced by one of our local heroes, if you will, if you don't mind me saying that. So that is huge. And you're working on another episode right now that maybe will give us another swing at maybe an Emmy opportunity down the road with Doug Gans over at the Orchard Lake Country Club. Tell us what you're about. And you're going to give us the opportunity to debut that one on Civic Center TV as well?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that one. So we took Chef Doug, we took him out fishing and showed him how to catch fish out of a kayak right behind the Orchard Lake Country Club, actually in his own backyard. And then we went in his world and he taught me how to be a chef and how to use really sharp knives. I actually cut myself pretty good on one of them, but I learned how it was like to run a kitchen, and it was an incredible episode. I can't wait for you guys to see that one.
So, what's left for you to do? What's next? Obviously you're going to continue to build your franchise and what you're doing on television, but is there anything else that you might want to take a look down the road and think, this is something else I want to be doing with my time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always tell people I play chess, not checkers. So I have like these moves that I've been putting in place for years there's so many things coming up. One big thing I'm super proud of, though, is I launched my first children's book series. We have 13 books total, but the first one is out, 2 is on the way. And that's right here. It's called The Adventures of Seth Squatch. And I do book readings all over the township and all over the state. And it's all about getting kids out of their comfort zone and meeting people that are different than them. Just like when our character Seth Squatch met his first human and learned how to fish. And it's a really cool series. But definitely that's in my future, doing more of those. We're working on, I have a board game as well for kids. And then, right here in West Bloomfield, I work with over 600 kids a year, teaching them how to fish at the kids camp. So there's a lot of things in the future that I'm working on with that. And of course, the show is growing. We're the first kayak fishing show on Discovery Channel. And we're going to keep on growing that platform.
Well, and kayaking in our area is huge. You really launched from an area that, I don't know that many people know it, but I've got a ton of friends that kayak, and our waters are great for kayaking in our inland lakes here.
Absolutely. Some of the best fisheries. And it's funny, people are always like, oh, where are you going to tomorrow? I'm like, oh, about 3 minutes down the road. I'm like, there's such amazing opportunities in West Bloomfield for fishing.
The people that I know, and I've never been a big fisherman, but quickly, the people that I know that are into fishing, it's obsessive. For me, it's aviation. For you, it's fishing. Fishing is all consuming, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it's not about just catching fish, and I always tell people that. It's getting on the water, finding your adventure, and just having that peace. And that's what most of my guests noticed. They come out in the kayak for the first time, and whether they like fishing or not, they're always like, man, it's so cool to get out in a kayak and be part of nature and not be interrupting nature with loud noises or with oil and gas, and not being like obstructive to the natural way. Like, this is beautiful. And so it's the same idea. And we actually did an episode with a 1947 seaplane 2 seasons ago.
I saw that clip. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
We got to fish out of a seaplane, and that was pretty cool.
All right, well, very good. I got a couple other friends that have them, so if you ever want to do another episode like that, let me know. Mike, thank you so much. Good. It's just another great local story, and I love telling these local stories. That's really what we're all about. Thank you for making time for us in the last minute. Congratulations with your show and all of your accomplishments and everything you're doing for the community. So good to have you with us here.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all you guys do too to make it all possible.